I scrolled around the internet looking for ways to end it all. Some seemed brutal, but maybe that's okay. Maybe I deserve to go out that way. I looked at the line of powder on the table, the last line I'll ever do, the last chance I'll have to feel good, to feel normal. I inhaled it. Suddenly, everything went black. You've all heard stories about how drugs ruined someone's life. Well, they also saved mine. The first time I saw some was at a party in high school. Parties weren't fun for me. I struggled with anxiety, and nothing made me feel less comfortable in my own skin than seeing a bunch of people who all seemed so comfortable in theirs. I only went because I felt I had to, but as soon as I got there, I wanted it to be over. The only problem was, my friend Jason was my ride and he wasn't ready to leave. In fact, he was just getting started. He held up a bag of white powder in front of me. "Just try it. You might like it." Of course, I'd heard about the dangers of getting hooked, but those were other people. It wasn't going to happen to me. I didn't have one of those personalities. I tried cigarettes once, stopped, pot once, stopped, and I'd been nursing the same beer since I got to the party, despite it now being room temperature and tasting absolutely gross. And honestly, that bag was the only way I saw of getting through the next few hours of this party. It was amazing. I stopped being self-conscious and just started talking to people. I was funny, had energy. This is what normal people must feel like all the time. When it got to 4 a.m., I was the one who didn't want to leave. I had so much fun that night. I thought, why not do it before prom and graduation and all my college interviews? This stuff was affecting me, but in a good way. I was the best version of myself. The only hard thing was keeping it secret from my parents. They were pretty nosy, so I'd keep finding new and creative hiding places for it around the house. The top shelf in the kitchen, tucked inside the fireplace we never use, under the litter box. There were a few close calls, but they never found it. I thought, I could do this forever. College went even better than high school. I worked hard, got good grades, with a little help staying up for all-nighters, and I met a smart, beautiful girl named Penny. I knew right then and there that she was the one and I could never lose her, which meant she could never know. After college, we got married. I found work as a journalist for a website that was blowing up, and Penny got a job at the hospital. We bought a farmhouse in the country, and a year later, Eileen was born. Eileen was my everything. I had heard having a child can put a strain on a marriage, but ours only got better. Even our little differences were fun, like laundry day. Penny likes folding her socks, but I like mine balled up. If she folded mine, I'd ball them. If I balled hers, she'd fold them. Finally, we just agreed not to touch each other's socks. Turns out, it also made my sock drawer a perfect hiding place for my stash. I just stick the baggie into a balled up pair of socks and sleep well knowing Penny would never find it. And she didn't. I still remember the look on Penny's face the day I came home from work. She found it. I looked into the den where Eileen was building a pyramid out of my balled up socks. I turned back to Penny. She held up my bag of stuff. "Your 6-year-old daughter thought this was sugar and asked if she could eat it. She could have passed away." The last 10 years of using flashed before my eyes. Sneaking out to meet my dealer, checking my nose in the mirror, it had all become so normal. "Penny, I can explain." She made a beeline for the bedroom closet. "That's all there is, I promise." But she wasn't looking for more. She was packing her bags. I begged for forgiveness. "I did it one time, I'll throw it out. I would never do anything to harm my family. Please, don't go." But as she continued to pack, my pleading turned to anger. "You're throwing it all away because of one time. Think of all the good we have, what we've built. Like you've never made a mistake?" That just made her pack faster. In a matter of moments, they were out the door. The house was silent. I fell to my knees in despair as I heard the car drive away. The next day, I woke up determined to get Penny and Eileen back, that I'd never expose them to my problems again. I'd get sober, and then I'd talk to Penny. But that day never came. I didn't get sober, because as much as I wanted to, I couldn't. I was hooked. A few months later, Penny and I met in court. I lied and told her I was sober. I don't know if she believed me, but for Eileen's sake, we said we wouldn't argue. We both wanted her to be happy, have a childhood as normal as possible. We agreed on shared custody. Eileen would live with Penny Monday through Friday, and me on the weekend. To me, that meant weekends I had to be careful, responsible, a good parent. The rest of the week, well, no one was watching. One night after work, my friend Darren brought some dust over. Before we could dig in, his fiance called and needed something she had left in the car, so he had to run back to his house. More for me, I joked. I turned the music up and spilled some on the coffee table. The doorbell rang. What's the matter? Car won't start? I opened the door. But it wasn't Darren. It was Penny and Eileen. Today was Friday? Eileen gave me a big hug. Penny saw the look in my eye and knew something was up. She spotted the blow. Her smile, which I had only recently started to see again, faded. You promised me you changed. I couldn't find the words to respond. Eileen, let's go. We're leaving. What? No! Eileen protested, not knowing what was going on. Penny had to practically drag her out the door. It felt horrible to watch. It felt even worse to be the cause of it. The next day, I got a voicemail. I told your daughter about her daddy, who he really is. You won't be seeing her again. How is this happening? Everything was perfect for 10 years. 10 years. And then in one moment, I lose my wife, and in another, my daughter. My everything. I sobbed. I kept waiting for the tears to end, but they just kept coming. And that's when I opened my laptop and began to search for ways out. I won't tell you how I finally decided to escape reality because it's too brutal. All I could tell you is I was okay with it. I deserved to go through this. I looked at the line on the table. Though it was the source of all my problems, I still longed for it. I wanted to feel good just one last time. I closed my laptop and snorted up, waiting for that feeling to take hold. That good feeling. That normal feeling. Then my world went black. I woke up in the ICU. The doctor told me Penny discovered me passed out and called an ambulance. She still cares, I thought. Later that day, she visited. I almost lost you, she said as we embraced. It felt good to be in her arms again, to know she cared too much to ever leave me. Thanks for coming back to check on me that night, Penny. I don't know what happened. Darren got the stuff from a new guy. He must have given us a bad batch. Won't be using him again. Penny froze. Again? David, you almost crossed the line and you still won't stop? You don't even want to stop? I didn't know what to say. She was right. Penny got up to leave, pausing in the doorway on her way out. I didn't go back for you that night, David. Eileen dropped her bunny in your living room. I went back for that. When the doctors discharged me 2 days later, I didn't want to leave. I was terrified to leave. There was nothing for me in that outside world. I told them I wouldn't hurt myself, but I didn't trust myself enough to believe it. So instead of walking out that door, I decided to walk into another, the hospital's rehabilitation center. Suddenly, I wasn't alone anymore. I had people I could talk to, people like me, who were uncomfortable in their own skin too. And the best part was, instead of seeing an empty lifetime ahead of me, I only had to look at one day at a time, one moment at a time. Before I knew it, I'd been sober for a year. Penny and I were still divorced, but she was incredibly supportive of the work I was doing. I felt better, healthier, happier, and what's even better, I got to experience a new high, a better high. I got to see Eileen, my everything. She even had a gift for me, the bunny. I keep it right above my sock drawer, a reminder of what I lost from being hooked and all that I had to gain by being sober.
Hey guys, we like the story so much that it's inspired us to want to know more about our parents and grandparents, as well as your parents and grandparents. They have had a whole lifetime in order to collect stories that are inspirational, educative, and if shared could help, well, anyone. So why don't you sit down with your parents and grandparents and get their inspiring stories. Anything that can be funny, can be inspiring, can be touching, can be emotional, can be hard things, difficult things that they have gone through their whole lives or any time in their life, and just share it with us on our stories platform, which is in the same place as always, in the description.